Hey guys, and welcome to another video and another episode of the series My Cars. This is a series where I take you along and we go deep dive into each and every one of the cars that I have owned over the years. And let me tell you, there's quite a few cars. Today we are at episode number 11 and we are now going to talk about my BMW E36 325i sedan. After I managed to crash my E36 323, I wanted a new E36. So actually not longer than a week after I sold my crashed E36, I bought another one. It was the E36 325i sedan with a manual transmission. It was black. I bought it for, I think I bought it for like 1,000 euros back at that time. I think this was 2017, maybe 18, and it did not run. So I wasn't able to figure out if it was in any good condition or not. Then I need to figure out why it does not start. So I tried actually changing the crank sensor and the cam angle sensor or whatever it's called. But it did not start either way. It did not start, so that was kind of bad. Then I tried to change the spark plugs and I got a battery booster on it to get some more power because I tried starting it a lot with no luck. But I got a radiator on it as well, and well, then one day, all of a sudden, after enough cranking, maybe it was because of the spark plug, because after I tried starting it a lot, and when it didn't start, the spark plugs just simply went wet. We got the car started and immediately I took it out for some drifting and I had some fun with it, and that was, yeah, it was a cool car and a really cool experience to finally like fix the car and get it to start and then be able to drive it. And it was road legal as well, so I could drive it, and that was a huge motivation for me because when I got it to start, then I could actually take it on the road. And I quickly found out when I got it started that the radiator was working, but it was kind of overheating, so that was not good. Then I found out it was missing the thermostat. It did not have a thermostat at all. I got a thermostat installed and that kind of helped a little bit, but still it was overheating a little bit. So that was kind of bad. I got a new battery for it, and I mean that helped with getting like some power into it, but it was not too good. It was yeah, it's still overheating. The car started though, but it needed a lot of cranking for it to start. Then I took it out for its first drive of the year, like on the actual road. That was quite fun.
I don't know if I should give throttle or not. Maybe give throttle. Let me see. Yeah, okay, throttle. We need throttle. Woohoo!
Then after I actually got that new battery in, I was able to like trust the car. Then I could just know I had to crank for like 30 seconds to start, but I know it did start eventually. So I started to use that car as my daily back at that time, and I swapped over the steering wheel. I got a good wash, I got some engine covers on it, I got some turn signals on the front that I actually took from my 323, the one I crashed. I had some parts laying around for that, so I used that. So the car like came along, it was doing okay. One of the days when it was springtime, I went to a buddy of mine to actually lower the car because he had a coilover set laying around that we wanted to install and get the car much lower. And a friend of him were also there that day with a black E36, and he said that he was so tired of seeing E36s with M bumpers, So he wanted to trade his M3 bumper for my OEM stock bumper. And I'm like, yeah, please give it to me. So we actually swapped over. So that day I got myself a free M3 bumper and traded it for my OEM bumper. I mean, yeah, best deal ever, right? But I mean, he was happy actually. So that's cool. If he likes that style, I respect that. But I mean, I like the M3 bumper. I'm not like sick of seeing the M3 style on the E36. I like it a lot. We got it lowered and we got some cool new wheels on the car. We got some BBS RX wheels, and I think those fit the E36 models quite good. And we got it pretty low as well. We took out the adjustments in the coilover, just had the spring, and that made it extremely low. But I mean, it was super, super cool. So I remember at the end of that day, we took a few burnouts and the car was quite stiff and a lot of fun to drive. Then I continued to use that car as a daily, but at that time I also had another E36 in my driveway that I wanted to focus my time on. Since the spring was there and the other car was a cabriolet, I kind of wanted to focus my time on that instead of this sedan. And without too much money, I didn't want to keep both cars. So I decided that I wanted to sell it. And over the time that I used the car, I mean, the engine got better. I could use it every day, but it was kind of overheating if you really pushed it to the max, and I didn't have too much time to focus on the car, and I didn't have the motivation to focus because I was much more motivated to work on my cab back at that time, my E36 Cabriolet. I decided to sell the car, and I will not say I regret selling it. It was a really fun car, but it always had some issues while driving it, and like I said, I could not drive it hard, and that kind of sucked for me because I bought it like just to drive it hard, and when I couldn't use it for that, so the potential was simply gone for me. There was a young kid coming, and I think it was just 18, 19 years old, and he test drove the car, and he actually drove it, not that he like drove it hard or anything, but he drove it more on the higher RPM range than I usually do. So kind of a funny story, but when he test drove the car to buy it, the car actually overheated and we had to pull over by the side of the road, and I had some water bottles in the back, of course, since it's a BMW, and we had to like bleed the radiator system all over again, and we have to pull more water, and of course that made him extremely nervous about buying the car. And I told him like, hey, this car does that sometimes if you drive it hard, but if you just don't drive it hard, it's okay, but you should figure this out. I don't know what the issue is. The car was so cheap anyway, so he bought it. I think I sold it for 1,000 euros, or maybe a little bit more, 1,500. I felt it was worth it, and apparently the guy who bought it, he also thought it was worth it, and I agree with him. It is, because it was a running and driving E36, and it was a 325. It's a big engine, but I never found out what the issue is with the cooling system. Maybe it just was a wrong thermostat, maybe the water. Now that I think of it and have a lot more experience with these cars, maybe it actually was the water pump. Maybe the water pump had some broken pieces in it, so it was working like 70% or something. I don't know, that could be a possibility. I know a lot of you guys say that you have been following me since I crashed my 36, so maybe this is a car a lot of you guys can relate to. If not, I do have a playlist on the YouTube channel where you can watch all the videos and get much more in depth than I am doing right now. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed, and maybe you are excited for the next episode, which is a car I know you all really like. And yeah, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode of My Cars. Goodbye!